Hello everyone, hope you all are fine. Finally, I'm here with the winning story of the 21-day lockdown story writing challenge that is Speaking Through the Window by Punarnava Sheel. I hope I can justify the emotions in the story. Sarah woke up to find many people in her house. Everyone was looking particularly sad. Bewildered, she went to the kitchen to find her mother serving tea to everyone, looking like she had been crying for some time. What was happening? Why are there so many people in her house? As she was wondering all this, she heard a voice. Sarah? Sarah? Sarah! Then someone hit her on her head and she opened her eyes to find her brother grinning at her. Wake up! Mom is calling for breakfast. And before she can retaliate, he ran away. Looking around, she realized it had been a dream. She felt relieved. Even though it had been a dream, she felt really sad. Brushing away these thoughts, she thought of food and smiled. She hurriedly freshened up and went to the dining hall where her father and brother were already eating. I'll come back early today and then we can go to your brother's house, her father told her mother. Sarah looked up. I want to go too. Not today, Sarah. Maybe next time. Please. You didn't take me with you last time also. Alright. Be ready when I come back then. Yes, said Sarah happily and ran after her brother to retaliate for hitting her in the morning. It was the month of January and a particularly chilly morning. Winter vacation was Sarah's favorite time. She could snuggle in the blanket cozily and she didn't have to wake up early. Plus, she didn't even have to deal with the sweaty and sticky weather. She wondered briefly which novel to read today. Reading novels were her favorite way to pass time. As she picked up her book, she heard her parents arguing. I don't think you should go today, her mother was saying. It is already late. Her father was a professor at APJ Abdul Kalam College. I have to go today. I have to make preparations in college for the upcoming exams. But there is construction going on in the house. What if the workers need some material? Then you can call and I'll order them. Her mother turned away angrily. Fine, go. Be back soon. I will. Sarah watched her father getting on his motorcycle and leaving. Her mother went back to her work and her brother wasn't anywhere to be seen. Probably playing somewhere. A few hours had passed and Sarah was deep into the book when the phone rang. She picked up. Hello? A distressed voice said, hello? Sarah? I'm your uncle speaking. Where is your brother? Sarah ran to fetch her brother and gave him the phone. She watched her brother's expression change from confused to alarmed to panic. He finally cut the call and ran to get their mother. Sarah kept on asking about the call but he wouldn't answer. Finally, they reached their mother and her brother said, Rakesh uncle called. Dad has met with an accident. We have to go to the hospital. To her young mind, it didn't seem a panic situation. Her father had met with accidents before but had always returned home, though with a broken arm or leg which would always heal in a month or so. But she saw her mother telling the workers to go home and asking her brother Arush the details. Rakesh uncle said it happened on the highway. He is admitted in Apex hospital. We have to get there fast. Her mom and Arush soon left after that, and Sarah was left alone with her thoughts. What has happened? Surely Dad is going to be okay. He promised to take me to my cousin's home today, and he never breaks his promises. She waited and waited for her brother to call her and tell that everything is fine and they all are coming back. But no such call came. It was beginning to get dark and still no news came from her family. Sarah hadn't moved from her place. She was checking her phone to see if she missed any message when she heard the familiar sound of her brother's scooty. Relief spread through her and she smiled, waiting for all of them to enter. But the smile on her face soon disappeared when she saw it was only her brother and mother. Her mother was crying on the back seat. What happened? Nothing. It's fine. We are handling it. her brother said. Don't lie to her, Arush. She deserves to know. Her mother scolded Arush. Your father is in the hospital, unconscious. We don't know when he will wake up. He is hurt on every part of his body and his situation is very critical. And then her mother dissolved into tears once again. Sarah could hear a low ringing in her ears. This is not possible. Dad, there is no way. This is just a bad dream. Her mother was speaking again. Go get ready. We are taking you to the hospital. As they reached the hospital, Sarah saw many familiar faces. As she climbed the steps, everyone turned and looked at her with pity. But Sarah didn't give them any thought and rushed forward to see her father. Her mother stopped her in front of the ICU. We can't go inside right now. But look, you can see your father from the window. Sarah's eyes scanned the hospital beds, but couldn't recognize her father. Did you see him? He is in such a bad state, her mother was saying. Sarah felt ashamed. How can she not recognize her father? She can't even ask anyone. What would people think of her? She felt a hand on her shoulder and looked up to see her brother. He is on the second bed, Arush told her grimly. Sarah looked again and was shocked. This person looked nothing like her father. They had removed his spectacles and every inch of his body was covered in bandages. She looked again and again but was unable to reconcile this image with the person who had handed her an extra sweet in the morning. As time passed, she felt everyone's eyes were on her. Were they expecting her to cry? Should she behave more badly? Were they thinking that she is perhaps too composed for someone whose father is in the ICU? Should she be crying? Why can't she feel any tears coming? She looked away from everyone and back at her father. Her mother was crying silently in a corner and her brother was standing beside her, unmoving. She looked at her father, who always had answer for everything she asked, and willed him to gain consciousness silently. Suddenly a doctor came out. Who is Deepak Srivastav's family? Come with me. They hurried inside and Sarah looked at all the machines attached to her father with wide eyes. We can't say when will he regain conscious. It could be today, tomorrow, a week or a month later. We suggest the family in these situations to visit often and call his name. The patient is emotionally attached to all of you. So when you will call his name, he will try to wake up. The doctor told them and looked at Sarah. The police said that the last thing he said before losing conscious was his daughter's name. So it will be better if you call him as often as you can. Her dad had what? She saw her mother looking at her with hopeful eyes and tried to call her father. But no matter how loudly she wanted to speak, she could only whisper, Papa? The doctor looked at her, annoyed, and asked her to speak loudly. What was wrong with her? Wasn't she in fact popular in her class for having the loudest voice? What was wrong with her voice now? She tried again and again, but all she could do was whisper. She ran out of the ICU crying, feeling angry at herself. She can't do anything. All she had to do was call her father. She couldn't even do that. Useless. That's what she was. She saw everyone looking at her in alarm, but she stormed past them. She didn't stop until she found an empty corner and let her tears fall. She kept crying silently. Her uncle came and sat beside her, but said nothing. Finally, she calmed herself down. Care to tell what happened just now? Her uncle asked gently. Sarah explained everything and he nodded in understanding. He began speaking words of comfort, but Sarah wasn't listening. She just realized she was standing at the hospital gate, Apex Hospital. How many times had she passed it in the years she had lived in the city? Never had she imagined she would be crying on this gate for her father. She wiped her tears. She hated crying. She headed back to her family where she saw her mother was still crying. Her mother told Arush to take Sarah home. On the way, Arush talked to Sarah about everything that had happened, and even though he was trying to be strong, Sarah knew that he had already cried when he thought no one was looking. In the span of just one day, He had gone from being an idiot elder brother to a responsible adult. 3 months later, Sarah woke up on her birthday from another dream. It had been a good dream. She dreamt that her father was back and they were all having a simple family dinner. Just the 4 of them. It had become her only wish. She checked the time. It was 6 a.m. She turned and saw her brother was still sleeping. He had studied till late night for his upcoming class 12 exams. She herself had to study for her exams. That thought made her remember her father had always taught her. He had often jokingly told her that every time she had an exam, it felt like he had an exam. But she knew her dad loved teaching. She blinked several times, determined not to cry on her birthday. Her dad had been moved to Apollo Hospital in Delhi. She'll always remember the day when the doctors of Apex Hospital had told her mother that her dad had somehow acquired a chest disease due to an infection and they didn't have the cure for it. Then they proceeded to inform that there is nothing else they could do now. Her mother had swayed dangerously on the spot. But Minu auntie, who was a doctor herself, had suggested moving him to Delhi where he can get better treatment. It had been 3 months, and while her mother always told her on call that her father's condition was improving, he had still not gained conscious. Sarah sat up on the bed, and a weird thought flitted into her mind. If this was a movie, she could have just fast-forwarded to the future. Sighing, she got up and started getting ready for school. Sensing commotion, her brother woke up and wished her birthday. Never before had she been this sad on her birthday. They had a quiet breakfast and then she went to school. Happy birthday! Her best friend Vidisha practically screamed. Smiling at her, Sarah muttered thanks. Soon she was surrounded by her friends, all of them wishing her birthday. Looking at Sarah, no one could believe that her family was going through such a tragic time. She didn't behave any differently. She still cracked jokes, laughed with them and did her work. No matter how close Vidisha and Shreya, her 2 best friends, looked, they couldn't see any trace of sadness. She masked it so well. In fact, if it hadn't been for their English teacher Mrs. Tripti, they wouldn't have even known that their best friend's father was in the hospital. But as it happened, Sarah had always been Mrs. Tripti's favorite student, and she had been the only person to whom Sarah had confided in. Mrs. Tripti had then told everyone and requested everyone to pray for Sarah's father, and had also offered to take in Sarah and Arush while their dad was in the hospital. This had of course annoyed Sarah, who hated being the object of anyone's pity. Now every day someone would come up to her in school and ask about her father. Sarah always wondered, do they even care? It's all just a big gossip for them. After spending another tiring day at school, Sarah went back home where she saw her brother had ordered a cake. Have you gone mad? Do you really think I'm in the mood to cut cake? Just what are we exactly celebrating today? How brilliantly our family has scattered? Or the fact that we don't know when will our parents come back? If they do come back. Sarah said angrily. Arush replied patiently. Mom told me to do this. Dad wouldn't have wanted you to go without cake on your birthday. Well, Dad isn't here, is he? Just cut the cake, Sarah. Dad will be back home soon. Don't worry. Sarah closed her eyes to make a wish and scoffed in her mind. God already knew what she wanted. If he had to fulfill it, he would have done it by now. Nevertheless, she still asked for her parents to come back home and blew out the candles. Sarah looked at her brother, who was deciding what to eat for dinner. Her brother had been her rock these past months. Both siblings never cried. They never even discussed the issue. In fact, Arush had put in all efforts to not let Sarah think about it. They had watched every TV series they could find, read every novel they could get. They slept during the day when Sarah didn't have school and woke up at night watching movies. Food was another matter. Since none of them knew cooking and they didn't have enough money to order food every day, they survived on biscuits and leftovers. People often asked Sarah how was she coping with it and why wasn't she crying. They thought she was being brave, but Sarah knew it was because her mind had gone blank ever since that day. She always kept herself busy and she knew Arush was doing the same. But today on her birthday, she let herself think about her family. She closed her eyes and made her birthday wish, hoping for a miracle. A month later, her dad opened his eyes for the first time in 3 months. 6 months later, Sarah couldn't sit still. She started pacing in the bedroom. "When are we leaving?" she asked Arush for the 10th time. "As soon as the cab arrives. But we have to clean the house first," Arush replied patiently. Sarah groaned and looked around. 6 months of dust had settled everywhere. She looked at her brother, raising her eyebrows incredulously. "At least we have to try. Let's clean up as much as possible or Mom will kill us for letting her house go into shambles," Arush said, amusement filling his voice. Sarah rolled her eyes and started cleaning. Yes, finally today her parents are coming back home. She could clean the whole damn city. She was so happy. She couldn't wait to see them again. 6 months. 6 months she had been separated from them. She couldn't believe she had survived this long without them. Car honked at the gate and Sarah looked at Arush with wide eyes. They both hurriedly locked up the house and left for the airport. Helping Dad out of the cab, Sarah heard Ayush whisper to Dad, "Do you remember us?" Even though he said it jokingly, there was a slight apprehension in his voice. After all, amnesia often happened in accidents. But Dad simply looked at him and said, "Is that even a real question?" Both Sarah and Arush smiled in relief and made their way to the house. Next day, Sarah woke up to find many people in her house. She got up from bed with an increasing sense of dread. This wasn't the deja vu she wanted. She went to the kitchen and saw her mother serving tea to the guests. Everyone looked particularly sad. Just then, Dad entered the kitchen in his walker and said, "Now where are those sweets I bought for Sarah and Arush? I should probably distribute it before they both murder each other for it." Everyone started laughing. And even though Sarah gave an annoyed look to her father, she smiled. Yes, her dream had indeed come true.